Hi, I'm Meg. Welcome to Plant Fit Meg. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about self-love and about just not being a jerk to yourself, I thought in honor of Valentine's Day. And also just any time of the year, showing your self-care and love is really important. And I think that a lot of us don't know how to do that and are very hard on ourselves. So I am not a therapist, and I absolutely recommend that you seek professional assistance if you require it. And at the same time, I am a coach, and I've also gone through my own process of trying to figure out how to care for myself and love myself. So let's get into my tips for loving yourself and accepting yourself and being cool with being you. As I mentioned, we are often so hard on ourselves, and we're often our own worst critics. And this happens for many, many reasons. Anything from the way you were raised and the way you were spoken to as a child and in your formative years, from various sources, family, friends, teachers, coaches, whoever in your life. The media also plays a really big role in making us think that we're not enough, we're not good enough, we're not working hard enough, we're not intelligent enough, we're not thin enough, we don't look the way we should look. And so there's a lot of external pressures to look a certain way, be a certain way, and if we don't fit that mold, oftentimes we are incredibly hard on ourselves and internalize that and can even start to really hate ourselves. At the same time, some of us don't even realize how crappy we are to ourselves and how hard on ourselves that we're being until we really start to think about it and break it down and pay attention to the thoughts that are coming into our brains about our abilities, about our appearance, any of that negative self-talk that comes up, that critical voice in your head that's being really rude to you and being a jerk to you. And then it's that recognition of, oh, I'm actually being really hard on myself and really terrible to myself. I think it's important to ask why and also to dig into how to change that. The first step in this, as with most things, is awareness. We can't change anything that we are not aware of. So notice when those thoughts come up. Notice those patterns of when that negativity really seeps in. And maybe it stems from scrolling on social media and you start to recognize, oh, there's a bit of a pattern here. I'm starting to compare myself with other people, and that's starting to make me really feel bad about myself and be really hard on myself. So maybe part of the solution is cleaning up your social media feeds and who you follow and how much time you're spending scrolling, and maybe following people who are presenting information in a different way, or who are a bit more maybe realistic in terms of what they're doing and the timeline that it takes to look a certain way or achieve a certain goal. The other thing is really internal and doing that work for yourself to realize, oh, I'm playing this comparison game and it's not good for me and I need to get myself out of it. Notice how you speak to yourself if you make a mistake, if you take a misstep on your healthy lifestyle journey, or if you make a mistake at work or make a mistake with your child as a parent. Like, are you very hard on yourself and very self-critical, or are you able to take a deep breath, acknowledge that you made a mistake and still be accountable to yourself? But just because you made a mistake or did something wrong doesn't automatically make you a terrible person, and it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. How can you stay accountable to yourself and acknowledge and recognize errors and make up for them, correct them, apologize, whatever needs done in that situation, and also move forward recognizing that it was a mistake, it was an error, and that's okay. You're still a good person, and you can still love yourself through it and make different choices the next time around and learn from it and grow from it and change. When you have these negative thoughts coming in, consider how you would respond if someone else spoke to you in that way. Someone else in your face, in your life, said that to you out loud, and how you would respond. And if it's not okay for someone else to say it to you, it's not okay for you to say it to you. So something to consider. Also, treat yourself like you treat your loved ones. Treat yourself with compassion, with love, with encouragement and enthusiasm, and treat yourself like you would a loved one. Also being patient with yourself in this process, because oftentimes change does not happen overnight. And we like to think that if we are very motivated, we can just kind of, it'll be like flipping a switch and it'll just be like magic and everything will be resolved and wonderful. And oh, I made this decision to do this certain thing in a better way. And that's wonderful, that's awesome, but I think also giving ourselves the grace and the patience of giving ourselves time to make these changes, and if we make the same mistake again after we've already resolved to not do that thing again, it's okay. We can continue to learn from it, continue to refine our strategies, and make things better the next time around. I recommend making a list of things that you're good at or things that you like about yourself. And initially, when you start to do this, if you're someone who's very self-critical and very hard on yourself, it can be really, really difficult to come up with even one or two or a handful of things. And so consider what are things that you are really passionate about and really good at, really successful with, really proud of, maybe accomplishments that you've had, and also digging deeper into not just what you do, but really who you are and who you are in your heart and who you are as a human being. And regardless of what you do in the world, you have value as a human. And so what can you pull from your internal values and who you really are, and what do you enjoy about yourself? What do you like about yourself? And it can be anything from personality traits to physical attributes to, like I said, it could be certain achievements and things that you've done that you're proud of, or things that maybe you haven't done that you're proud of, something where maybe you could have taken a turn down a dark path, but you chose a different way, and that's something equally to be proud of yourself for. You can also think about ways that you show up in your life that you're happy about. Do you show up as a friendly person or a pleasant person or someone who's helpful, someone who is kind, someone who takes care of themselves and takes care of others, someone who's strong, someone who sets boundaries and maintains them? There's so many different things that we can enjoy about ourselves. And the more that we practice making these lists and adding to them and refining them over time, the more we can recognize, oh, there are actually some great things about me. There are some things that I really do like about myself and do enjoy about myself. And I don't have to be perfect in order to be a good human, a good person, a good friend, coworker, partner, whatever the case may be. When we talk about self-care, sometimes it gets into spa territory and caring for yourself in that kind of a way. And that can be part of self-care, but I think something important to consider about caring for ourselves is that it is a daily practice. It is something we do every single day. You live with you every single day of your life. You cannot escape yourself. And so if we can really care for ourselves, nurture ourselves, nourish ourselves, and do things that are important to us, do things that we are happy with, things that make us happy, things that bring us joy. Even if we can carve out 5 minutes a day to do something that we love to do. Maybe it's listening to some great music. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's reading or just having some downtime, some quiet time. It's important for us to take time for ourselves and show that love to ourselves. And I think oftentimes we want to project our love outwards. We care for other people. We take care of others so much, and our focus can be so external that it can be good to be a little selfish and turn that around and say, hey, this is the way that I think about my best friend. This is the way I think about my mom or whoever, like people you have good relationships with in your life. And how can I turn some of that love and kindness and compassion and encouragement, how can I turn that around from being directed outwards to other people to redirect it back towards myself and show myself that same love and care and compassion? Much easier said than done. Again, it takes practice and noticing when you're not taking any time for yourself, noticing when you're not being kind to yourself. at all. And really making an effort every single day, multiple times a day if you can, to do something nice for yourself. Say something kind to yourself. Have a nice thought. Celebrate the wins. Think about, what did you win at today? What went well? And maybe it was a crappy day. Maybe there was not much good in it. I've definitely had a few days like that recently that have just been really funky, really off. Stress and overwhelm, and the weather's so cold and snowy, and everyone's just kind of done with winter, so there's this like tension in the air that everyone is just a little on edge. My sleep has been off. So we definitely have our bad days, and I don't want to color this as like a toxic positivity situation where if you're having a bad day, oh, ignore it and just pretend it's not happening and everything's sunshine and rainbows and lovely. No, acknowledge that you're having a bad day or a hard time, a hard phase, but also recognize that it will pass. It is temporary, and control what you can control. There are a lot of things that happen in our lives that we don't have control over. I've had health issues in the past, and that has just been something that I've had to deal with. It comes up and it's like, all right, now what? Here we go. And you do your best to figure it out and make the best of a really crummy situation, and acknowledging that bad days and bad times happen, and that's okay. That's human. That's natural. That's normal. That's to be expected. But it does pass, and it does get better, and it does improve. It can improve. And if you can control little bits of time in your day, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there, if you can get a workout in and feel really great, or go for a run, or go meet up with a friend for coffee to kind of bring up your energy and feel really fulfilled and feel good, feel satisfied. Anything you can do to really pump yourself up and do something that will make you feel good is worthwhile and important to take the time to do. And I think we underestimate how much those things can really help us and really bring us joy and bring us into a different energy where we're feeling better about ourselves. Prioritizing yourself and caring for yourself can look like drinking water, staying hydrated, eating a healthy diet, moving your body in ways that are joyful to you, and just taking care of yourself as you would care for a child, or care for, if you think about yourself as a kid and how you would take care of that little human. Some people like to have like photos of themselves as a kid on their desks or in their wallets or on their phones, just as a reminder of, hey, I'm still that person. I'm a grown up now, I'm an adult, but I can still care for that little human and treat myself the way that I would treat that person that I was then. It can be a helpful way sometimes to conceptualize caring for yourself in a really deep way and sort of almost reparenting yourself in a way and learning how to really, really nurture and care for yourself. Something else that's so important with self-love and really learning how to not hate yourself and really learning to like yourself is being yourself, being true to who you actually are. And I think this comes easier to some people than others for a variety of reasons. But I think the more you can dig into who you are actually as a human, what you value, how you want to express yourself, how you want to project yourself in the world, how you want to show up and who you want to be. I think they're really deep questions, but sometimes they're also pretty simple questions to answer too. And if we do a little bit of that exploration, if we journal about it, if we think about it, if we talk it out with others, it can be really helpful to sort out who we really are at our cores, what's really important to us and what we value, and then behaving in line with what you've come up with. It's really unhealthy and unfulfilling to try to be fitting into a mold that's been dictated to you by someone else, by society, by family, by whoever in your life. And I know this is a privileged position for me to be in, living where I live, and I have certain freedoms that perhaps other people don't have, so I do want to acknowledge that. And at the same time, a lot of us do have that freedom and have that ability to be ourselves and be very true to who we are, what we want to do, and how we want to express ourselves. And so, I mean, not everyone is going to go for a buzz cut and piercings and tattoos and things that I have going on. And that's fine. I think everyone needs to do what is good for them and how they want to express themselves. But I think in the past, I had a lot of fear of, oh, if I buzz all my hair off, people will think I'm sick. People will, perceive me in a certain way. People will have certain expectations or certain judgments, and I don't want to deal with all of that. But when you really break it down and think about it, that is more of a them problem than a me problem. And me just existing with super short, almost no hair. It's just a style choice. It's just easy for me. It's something that I enjoy and something that I like. Some people will think I'm ugly. Some people will think that it's terrible and not feminine. And, people will have thoughts and judgments, and sometimes they will express those to me, which, is not the best. But at the same time, it's not really my business what other people think of me at the end of the day. I just want to be myself and do what I want to do and be who I am and just exist. And I am more than hair. I used to be someone who always had very long, very blonde hair for many years of my life. And for a variety of reasons, that has shifted. And I have some videos about buzzing my hair and my cancer experience. And so I'll link some videos below in case you want some more background on that. But I've really come to separate my identity from my hair and from the way I look in a lot of ways. And at the same time, I like my piercings. Like, I feel weird if I don't have them in. I am strangely connected to them, and they make me feel good, and I like them. And some days I wear a full face of makeup. Sometimes I wear, just a little bit. And sometimes I literally go without makeup at all, and I just exist in the world. And either way, it's all good. It's all fine. So I think finding ways to show up that you're comfortable with, finding ways to express yourself, be yourself, and be true to who you are. Obviously, self-expression is just one aspect of this. And I also think digging deeper into like your actual core values and things like that are more important. But I think sometimes a first step can be, oh, I really want to wear this bright yellow shirt. Oh, but it's not maybe my style. I can't pull it off. I'm uncomfortable with it in some way. It's like, okay, well, consider why that discomfort is there. And if it's something that you actually really love and want to try, why not? Are you afraid of what someone else is going to say or how someone else is going to respond, the judgment of others? I think developing a thicker skin around that and just being okay with other people judging, because regardless of what you do in life, people will judge you. With my buzz cut, people judge me. When I had my long blonde hair, people definitely judged me. So you can't control it. It's just something that happens. And I think the more we can be resilient with it and not take it too seriously, especially from strangers or from people that aren't important in our lives, then the more we can learn how to really just be ourselves, be happy with ourselves, do what we want to do, and feel more comfortable in our own skin and be more comfortable existing in the world. Another thing that has come up that I want to mention about my buzz cut and piercings and things like that is I've been told, oh, well, you won't get a job. Like, no one will hire you because you have a really extreme look, a really dramatic look. And to that I say, if someone doesn't want to hire me because I look the way I look, then I don't want to work for that place anyway. Why would I want to work somewhere that is going to be that judgmental and that just make assumptions about people based on their appearance? So sometimes self-expression does kind of get into these deeper issues of like values and things like that too, where I wouldn't want to work for a company like that anyway, so it's totally fine. It doesn't bother me. Also, my look is not that extreme. I do want to acknowledge that. I lived in Vancouver for a few years. I've also lived in Ottawa I lived in Ottawa for most of my life. That's where I grew up. And my look was not that extreme. And now I live in a smaller town and I do get a lot of like weird looks, and my family in general gets a lot of weird looks because my husband has really long hair, and we just, I guess, have a different look than most people. And so I'd also want to acknowledge that depending on where I am and depending on the context, I'm not out of place at all in certain areas and in certain contexts. And then in other situations, it's like, whoa, it shocks people or throws people off. So that's always fun. It actually takes up a lot less time and a lot less energy to be yourself and do what you want to do and operate from your values and operate from who you really are than to try to guess what other people want you to be or what other people expect. That takes a lot more mental energy and time and stress and overwhelm to be always trying to guess how you should show up in different scenarios based on who you're dealing with. It's a lot easier to just show up as you, and if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, they don't. And you're just being genuine, you're being yourself, and you will find your people. You will find other humans who have similar values or similar ideas and who won't look at you like you're an alien from another planet. Sometimes people have a hard time figuring out who they really are and what is important to them and who they are at their core. And so I have a few tips for sort of figuring that out and coming to some answers with that. I think one thing to consider is that it is always okay to change, and it's always a little bit in flux. And so you don't have to completely put yourself in a box and completely define yourself a particular way and be committed to that for your entire life. Personalities change. As we learn and grow, we change. And so you can always change your mind and change your opinion and move forward in a different way as you learn and as you grow as a human. But figuring out who you are, think about what your values and your beliefs are. What is really important to you when it comes down to being a human in this world? And what do you actually value? What's actually important to you? And then consider if your actions are in line with that or not, and ways that you can behave more in line with what those values are and what is important to you and what you want to work towards in terms of who you are as a person, and also in the broader sense of your community and your country and the world in general. What's important to you? I think this is a really important one. I can't count how many times I've said the word important in this video, but thinking about what you would say on your deathbed about, and might be a little dark for some people, but I don't think death is something to shy away from, because if you're living, eventually you'll be dying or dead. It's just a natural part of life. But what would you say on your deathbed about what was worthwhile to you in your life, what made you happy, what you enjoyed doing, what you're happy you spent time on and time doing, versus maybe things that you would have not wanted to spend a lot of time on. And some of these things, obviously, like, we all need to work, we all need to live in the society, and we need to pay our bills and things like this. But generally, what would we be happy about or maybe not so happy about as we're on our way out of this world? And I think thinking about that now and examining that now before we're at that point and before we have a lot of regrets and a lot of issues with the way that we lived our life, if we think about it now, then we have time to grow into the person that we really always wanted to be and the person that we're meant to be, and how we can really love ourselves through different phases in our lives, and ideally take action in a way that we won't have a big long list of regrets at the end of our lives. because we've been able to identify what is really important, what values and beliefs and who we truly are at our cores, and behaving in line with that feels so good. And it's a great way to cultivate self-love. Another thing with figuring out who you are and really developing that self-love is questioning why you do the things that you do. Why do you wake up at a certain time in the morning or go to bed at night at a certain time? Or why do you spend time doing certain activities, certain things? Are you doing things because they're things that you want to do or things that will bring you something positive in your life? For example, work is a big thing that takes up a lot of our lives, and we don't really have an option of working or not. Most of us need to work, we need to pay our bills, we need to do these things to get by. And maybe your job literally just pays the bills and you're not super passionate about it, you don't love it, but it just gets you by so that you can have the money to do the things you want to do and save up for things that you want to save up for. And that's totally fine. But we're so much more than our work. And for me, I'm really lucky that I get to do work that I love and that I'm passionate about, and being online and coaching people and helping people and doing something that I love and that I'm really excited about and really passionate about. But again, that's a privilege and not everyone has that luxury. And we're so much more than our work. We're so much more than what we do as employment, as a career. What besides work is important to us, and what else do we want to be spending our time doing? Work is one component. Most of us will work, an 8-hour day or so. What do we want to do with the rest of our waking time? And are we doing things because of external pressures, because of social media, because of media in general, because of our society in general, or people in our lives who are judging us and pressuring us to do certain things or not do certain things, but it maybe isn't in alignment with what we actually want for ourselves. Another thing that can be really helpful with loving yourself is having supportive community, and whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's a specific community in which maybe you have a shared interest, or people who are supportive of you and just accept you as who you are and love you for who you are, can be really, really helpful in learning to love yourself. Not everyone has close connections with family or friends or community, and that's really challenging and really difficult. And some people don't think they need it, really. Some people just like to be their homebodies and maybe are more introverted and maybe don't feel the need to have that sense of community. But I think even if you can find those kinds of communities, people with like-minded values or interests online to connect with and to share with and to discuss topics with, can be helpful in having people in your life who do support you and who do see you as you are and are cool with it and like you for who you are truly. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I think it was a little bit all over the place, so I hope it made sense. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot recently, and in having sort of a rough few days, a little rough patch for myself, and sort of coming back to these ideas and coming back to questioning the negative thoughts that pop up and, oh, where's that coming from? What's that about? And sort of flipping that around and talking to myself in a more positive way, and recognizing that other people are probably experiencing what I'm experiencing. Oftentimes we feel very isolated and very alone in all of this, and we see people's pretty pictures on social media, and we see, the highlight reel, and everything looks lovely and amazing and wonderful, and we sometimes forget that is a highlight reel, and it is somewhat real life maybe, but sometimes not. So I think I'm hoping that this video reaches the people who need it, and I'm hoping that it is helpful to you in knowing that you're not alone. You're not the only person who is crappy to yourself, has yucky thoughts about yourself sometimes, and puts yourself down, and needs to work at the self-care and the self-love piece. And I think sometimes we just think that other people have it easier, and so oh, they are beautiful, or they have this fitness goal that I want to achieve, or they have the house I want, or whatever. Like, they have already sort of achieved something, or they're doing good in the world, and it feels like we're not doing enough and we're not worthy. And it's like, okay, let's stop the comparison game. Everyone has something positive to contribute to the world, and everyone has value regardless of who they are. So let's work on this together. I would love to hear your experience of maybe not liking yourself very much and how you've been able to turn that around, or think little things that help you. I know other things that help me are just like doing weird little things throughout the day that give me a little smile or make me happy. Things like my little background with my little like She-Hulk and my broccoli dude and my rainbow and like my child's artwork. You know, these things bring me joy, and they're just little things, like nothing major, but they make me happy and they make me smile. So having things like that in your environment can also be helpful in just giving you a little boost and feeling connected to things that bring you joy and things that make you happy. And sometimes in figuring out what you don't like or who you're not, that is a good way to figure out who you are and what you do enjoy and what is, you know, helpful for you and enjoyable for you in your life. Share your thoughts on this topic in the comments section below. I would absolutely love to continue this conversation. Let me know if you'd like to see more content like this about self-love and self-acceptance. I'm considering making another body image video as well. I'll link my old one in the description box, but let me know if you'd like to see that. I hope you're having a great day, and even if you're not having a great day, that's okay. Reach out for help if you need it. Reach out to a professional if you need the assistance. My challenge to you is to write down one thing that you like about yourself and do at least one thing a day that brings you joy. And if you'd like to share those in the comment section below, I'd love to see. Chatting in the comments is a great way to connect with me and to connect with each other and share ideas. I kind of want to keep talking about this topic and continue talking to you, but this video is already way too long. So I will say goodbye for now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.